Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Hey everybody, we'll get started here in just a few moments. Hey everybody, rare daytime stream for me. We'll be starting in just a few moments. I'm just getting a couple of things situated. And yeah. Hope my audio sounds okay. I made some changes. I don't know if I like them or not. But in any event, turn my compressor on, which might make my voice sound weird. Turn my noise gate on to try and cut down on the echo in here. Fiddled with a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't know how it'll pan out, but hopefully it's good enough. We'll start in about 2 minutes. Hey Grim, how you doing? Khan, how you doing also? You still have it loaded on an old laptop, huh? Hopefully it still works for you. I had to finagle to get it to work, and it doesn't fully work in that I can't go into the settings or the game crashes, and I don't know how to fix that. I can edit a text file to edit certain settings, but I don't know what all of the settings are. Yeah. Antietam, you know what's interesting is Antietam technically I think is a better game. It has like some indicator when you're shooting, when a unit is firing, for example, it'll have a number value to like indicate the effect of that fire. Gettysburg doesn't have that. Like there's several quality of life things, and I think the UI is just cleaner and like looks prettier. Presentation generally seems a little better in some ways, but in other ways they stripped a lot of the charm out of what made Gettysburg special. Now I know Antietam's a one-day battle, so like the narrative story arc of scenario to scenario doesn't work as well, but like I think what really, and we'll start here in a moment, guys, but I think what really sets Gettysburg apart is, to this day, there are games that might be more approachable. Ultimate General comes to mind. There are games that might be better from a tactical representation point of view. Take Command / Scourge of War probably fits there. Certainly from a scale point of view, Scourge of War is better. From a presentation point of view, however, in terms of if you are just trying to present this game to someone and you want them to feel like this game has polish, that this game has a budget, that this game really draws you in, Gettysburg is unsurpassed. The narrative sort of briefings between scenarios, the FMV elements, the like pointing at maps and explaining what's going on. There is no other game that comes close to nailing the presentation of this. Feels like a game that is not a budget niche war game, that is made by people who like, you know, are interested in appealing to a wide variety of people, that feels like they have a budget, but also like feels like they're trying to tell a story in a way that like most war games are like, here's some text, here's a menu, all right, now go into the scenario, kind of put things in your own head. Like this is a game that is polished and is unlike any other war game I have seen since. All right, let's start. Hello, everybody. It's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're taking a blast from the past. We played this on the channel before. We played Sid Meier's Gettysburg on the channel before, but we are going to play today. If you're watching this live, we are doing a rare daytime stream on YouTube and Twitch, and we'll post this tomorrow probably on YouTube as well as a VOD. But we are going to be playing some Sid Meier's Gettysburg. Today is July 3rd, and so it is the anniversary of Pickett's Charge, but we're not doing Pickett's Charge, at least not right now. I think what we'll start off today is a scenario. So we're not going to do like the narrative battle elements, which I kind of was just talking about in the pre-stream about like how much I loved it. But we're actually going to go ahead and take a look at one of the scenarios here. You've got a list of these different things you can do. But what we're going to do is you've got a couple of options. You could do the first day meeting engagement, which is interesting, you know, fight the whole thing from 8 in the morning until evening. And then you can do the second day echelon attack. And then there's like I don't really understand this. There's a second first day alternate, which is like, hey, what if Stonewall Jackson had shown up? But the way these games work, it doesn't really matter who your commander is. Like brigade commanders matter a lot, and maybe division commanders, but like unless you're playing the AI, it doesn't matter if you get a little guy on the screen that says he's Stonewall Jackson, because it doesn't really like change anything. But in any event, like apparently these 3 battles were meant to be multiplayer battles, which is interesting. I never played them multiplayer, but it is cool because I remember when back in the day on like GameSpy, you could have like different people play different roles of different commanders. So I could see this scenario where like second day's fight and you each get a division or something. That could be interesting from a multiplayer point of view. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump in. We're going to play the second day echelon attack. I'm actually not going to do the most. Yeah, we're going to do double day difficulty. I don't think maybe I had Hancock chosen before. I don't know. We'll do double day. I'm not very good at this game. I mean, I like to pretend I'm good, but I'm moderately competent. So who would be direct? Burnside is prudent and direct. Aggressive and flexible is Pope. Oh, that's a stretch. Okay. Anyway, flexible. That's interesting. Do I want them to be flexible, or I'd rather they be direct? Prudent and direct. All right. Anyway, we're going to do the second day's echelon attack. How do I have this working on a modern system? I made a video about it years ago, where I showed how I got it to work. But again, it doesn't fully work. If I try and go into the settings in game, the game will crash. So I got to do like the right click to move around the map. I can't do the map scroll. But in any event, so let's do the second day echelon attack. Starts at 4:30 in the afternoon. Lee attacks in echelon along his entire right wing. Good scenario for ambitious multiplayer teams. Sadly, no multiplayer team for this, but we'll play as the Confederacy.
You must hold this position
by the end of the battle.
This is your best
This is your best brigade. I don't know if this is really your best brigade.
There'll be some more infantry coming up.
Yeah, more infantry and artillery, frankly. But setting, game speed, pause. So I didn't actually hit pause. Oh, I didn't? I don't know. I don't know if Law is really your best brigade or if he's just the best of the two brigades that you start off with, but you're going to get a lot more forces active as the battle goes on. So I have to kind of click around here to get around the map. It starts off with Hood's division attacking on the far end of the line. He's going to be attacking toward the Devil's Den and Little Round Top. You can see these are the victory points we want to hold by the end of the battle. Little Round Top is the most valuable victory point, 25 victory points, and then Cemetery Ridge is 20. Welker's Hill between them is 15, so that main line of the Union position here between all of that is, what, 60 victory points? Oh my God. And then the sort of objectives that the Confederates actually took, Devil's Den, Rose Wheatfield, Peach Orchard, basically Sickles' position here were 30. So historically, obviously the Confederates did not win this battle. They did not take any of these objectives. Almost took Little Round Top, did not take Welker's Hill, did not take Cemetery Ridge. Almost took it. Thank you, 1st Minnesota, for preventing that. But in any event, this is sort of the position you start off with. You do attack in echelon, which means that you do not get the full Confederate force to start with. So we start with 2 brigades. We start with General Law's brigade here down on the southern edge, and then we have Robertson's brigade up here. Robertson's moving straight for the Devil's Den. Law is moving to his flank. We're actually going to go ahead and click and drag and move Law off a little bit further south, and that's further south, but just further east, I guess, so that he doesn't kind of form up behind this initial creek. And then we've got Robertson, who's going to move to his flank with the Texas Brigade. Where's Hill or Hood? Let's also move some artillery forward here and unlimber it up here. I don't really know where the enemy is going to be. Like, I don't know where to put artillery on this map. That's one thing I don't really understand. And actually, I think Antietam does such a better job than Gettysburg in terms of like communicating fire and what's being effective and what's not. But yeah, I don't see Hood. Where's Hood? Do I need to zoom out, or does he come online later? Maybe he's not on the map yet. In any event, let's go ahead and move the game speed. We're going to play on slow speed because with these fast processors, things move pretty quick. So these guys are moving into position. Nobody to shoot at yet. We know the Union has troops because they're blue. Let's move Riley up a little bit too. Gonna move Law in column formation to make him move more quickly. Oh, here's Hood. Was he there the whole time, or was I just blind? You can see here, 1st Texas, Robertson is a competent brigade commander. His regiment here, 4th Regiment, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sort of squares of experience that influence like how much fire they can hold up to. And then once they get into line, they will actually get additional benefits from like localized commanders and other things like that. Federals appear to be pulling troops out of the Devil's Den. That's an interesting strategy. I haven't seen that before. Wonder where they're going. They do still have artillery here. I don't know if they're limbering up or what the deal is there. We do have some units that are locked up here. Sem's brigade's moving forward. Wolford's moving forward. These units are not available to us yet, but will become available as we get further on into the fight and the echelon progresses. Oh, they're going to fall back to Little Round Top by the looks of it. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Maybe we'll be able to take the Devil's Den more easily then. I don't want to move these boys at double time because then they will get penalized from a fatigue and morale point of view. So as much as I would love to sprint these boys forward to get there more quickly, we're not going to do that quite yet. And RSC plugging the WDS titles there on sale. You can see a huge battery of enemy. Oh, okay. Quite a bit of enemy infantry here in the Peach Orchard. Sickles' 3rd Corps moved forward. He does have a large battery of artillery sitting on the sort of plateau of the Peach Orchard, which is a challenge to move through. It is expensive to move through, but you can do it. I always find it interesting is that units like start engaging with artillery and other things like this when they're not technically like under your command, but they can still take casualties. This artillery can still shoot at them. And I think if the enemy attacks you, it'll just like activate certain units early. All right, move up these Napoleons. These Napoleons are good for short-range work. So, pretty chill start here. The Round Top. Okay. I prefer to move in maneuver column because it moves you faster but keeps you in line like you're going to be once you engage the enemy. The only problem is if we do run into like enemy sharpshooters or something like that, then obviously you're in a column formation, you're highly vulnerable. Let's form a battery over here. We know the enemy's got a bunch of guns over here, so let's form a battery that'll support the drive on the peach orchard. These guys are going to move to the Devil's Den. There's still no sign of the enemy troops in the Devil's Den yet. It's a very slow start to this fight. I don't want to move things more quickly though, because it'll be easy to lose track of things. Move you into double line to approach Little Round Top. I don't really want to assault Little Round Top. What I was thinking last night is like, maybe we could just swing north and just flank the entire core out of Devil's Den, Roseweed Field, and then the Peach Orchard. But I do feel like if the enemy's pulling back all these troops to Little Round Top, then we'll be exposing ourselves to enfilade fire from the artillery on Little Round Top, which would be a bad tactic, I think, to follow. Although I'm really a little bit floored by how many troops they're pulling back to Little Round Top. They're just like abandoning this portion of the line. How many guns are they pulling back there? Oh, we got some sharpshooters. Halt. Form line. All right, we are engaged with enemy infantry. These are the first U.S. sharpshooters. I believe these are Burden's men. Burden's men? I don't know how you pronounce his name. They usually are in skirmish formation. That looks a little bit closer to line formation than I would think.
Sir, reinforcements are coming up.
All right, Benning's brigade is available. Benning is kind of behind Snyder Ridge. I don't know if he'll go support Devil's Den or the assault on Little Round Top. We'll move him up in maneuver column first and just sort of decide as he gets closer. But yeah, no enemy troops that I can see so far. Visibility could be limited. These boys might be marching into an ambush here in the Rose Woods, but on the double, boys, form line. You're gonna flank these sharpshooters here as the rest of Law's brigade moves in behind you. Oh, we got some enemy troops here. Brigade, halt. Form line. We're approaching the Devil's Den, boys. These boys up here this way. Thank you, Flag, for the follow. Appreciate it. I hope my voice is coming in loud enough over the gameplay. Let me know if I need to adjust volume levels. They've got a little bit of entrenchment, so they've had time to pile some rocks. You can see this little wooden bar in front of this enemy unit. Why are you still? You should be moving it. Okay, you're moving to the line. Just slowly. Sharpshooters haven't really done any damage to the 47th Alabama yet. The other brigade or the other regiment is forming up in their flank. Let's actually take a look at the scenarios so far. So we've taken 21 casualties, the enemy 19. Although I would assume a fair amount of our losses have been to artillery. Oh boy, this artillery is going to rout. They're trying to engage that whole enemy battery by themselves. Oh, there they go. They drove that battery off. Are they not shooting at them? I'm kind of confused. Are they not in range? They're just sitting there and taking the fire? Well, then get out of there. You get 2 batteries routed just for the sake of nothing. I guess they're not rifled guns, so maybe that plays a factor.
Take cover, man! Charge!
Yeah, we'll charge them into the flank. Granted, some of those bad guys, the Union, some of those troops are in skirmish formations. I don't know that I'll be able to close the distance. Benning's boys are going to come in here kind of between these brigades, I think. Link them up as we push toward Little Round Top. I don't think there's any chance if the enemy pulled a brigade and all those guns back to Little Round Top that we will actually take Little Round Top. There's like no chance that we will take Little Round Top, at least not presently constructed. But if they're going to pull all those troops back to Little Round Top, there's a chance that maybe we'll take Cemetery Ridge. Meanwhile, the lone enemy regiment that we can see here in Devil's Den is taking fire from 3 regiments. New enemy officer spotted near Rose Wheatfield. I'm trying not to get too many of my troops exhausted at this point by double timing them around. Artillery is going to be... Can someone rally that those guns? So we've got a crack division commander and brigade commander. I'm hesitant to have, or this isn't even a battery under Hood's division. So, oh, actually it is. I'd like maybe Hood to do some rallying. All right, we routed that enemy regiment. All right. Other than that, whatever that was. Let's just form up a line here. Now you're going to be exposing your flank a little bit to the guns up on Little Round Top, so you got to be careful of that. Benning's boys are going to come in beside you, and we're flanking toward Rose Wheatfield. Devil's Den is ours. Skirmishers, just die already. The entire assault on Little Round Top is being held up by a single sharpshooter regiment. Union's approaching Devil's Den. That seems unlikely. Form up in double line, Benning, come in on the flank of these sharpshooters. I'm trying to not, again, get overexposed. Although, you do also need to, like, actually move. Why are they not shooting at anyone? They have no targets? Maybe the infantry's blocking them? Okay. There's this battery of artillery. I can't click on it.
Reporting, General.
Walker House. Are they really not shooting at anybody? Or are they not unlimbered yet? They're still, looks like they might be still getting the guns into position.
Aim low, boys! Sir, reinforcements are coming up!
Anderson's brigade is now online. Where is he? All right. Back behind his position. So he'll extend the line, advancing out of Devil's Den. Enemy is moving a brigade up, it would appear, onto our flank at the Devil's Den, so we will move Benning's brigade in behind to guard that. North Texas wheel right. All right, how are the casualties going now? All right, now things have turned around a bit as we're flanking them near the Devil's Den. We are inflicting more on them than they on us so far. Although obviously we've got a lot of work to do in terms of taking objectives. Damn skirmishers. If I could close with them, that would be great. Because that whole brigade's coming down onto us. We're gonna have to advance over the open toward Little Round Top, which seems dubious. Henry Hunt Day. Isn't Henry Hunt Day Malvern Hill Day? Or is that, are they both, they're both Henry Hunt Day. Both good days for the Union artillery.
We got him running, sir!
All right. Law, form your brigade up. Who needs Little Round Top? Just halt on Big Round Top and defend there. I would if it was worth anything. All right. Benning, you're going to extend your line, although you're going to be under artillery fire, which is not ideal. Dealing with all these Federals coming down on you. Fourth Texas's flank is in the air. I guess these guys' line of sight is not good. Well, they'll have line of sight on these guys once they move like 10 yards forward. You know what's funny is the line of sight tool in this game is like better than most modern games. All right. Are these more sharpshooters? They're the same guys. Alright, I hate to use up their energy, but I need to push these Federals back. Seems like the only way to do that is to double quick a bit to get closer, and then if we need to, fire a volley into their flank. Although again, they're skirmishers, so their flank is not gonna be as exposed. Although we're firing into the rear a little bit, maybe we can rout them. It is a little annoying that units don't actually start shooting in this game until they're like fully in line. Be cool if you could get like a rippling volley as like companies come into position. In any event, he drove them off. Benning's boys are coming up. Anderson's boys are approaching all this artillery, which is not feeling great. If there's no troops there, I'd love to charge them, but I'm guessing there's infantry in the woods here. God, that's a lot of fire. Yeah, these guys are still not shooting at anybody. They don't have line of sight on anything. What a terrible position for your artillery to be in. I still don't see any infantry on the southern end of the peach orchard. I know they got to be there because Sickles' Corps is up that way. 59th Georgia's gonna die, but maybe they can die so that the 11th can wreck some enemy artillery. Well, it says there's a Pennsylvania regiment there on the guns. You're still fighting the Pennsylvania boys. All right. Enemy guns are moving at least. That'll lessen the fire we're taking from them. I would have liked to charge and disrupt them, but at least we're forcing them to run. Doing a little bit of damage to them as they leave. Georgia coming behind. Okay. That's why the infantry in the Peach Orchard has been so inactive. They're not actually activated yet. 7th Georgia coming in behind some Union troops here. Oh, never mind. There are troops to their front, dug in the wheat field. Laws Brigade is threatening Little Round Top, I suppose. Although with all those guns, I don't see any prospect of success. Maybe the 20th Georgia can... Maybe we can flank these Federals here. Rout them a bit.
Watch your aim, lads.
Okay. Or at least weakening the Peach Orchard by driving all those guns out.
Watch your aim, lads.
Advance! Alright, they're bringing some troops out in front of Little Round Top now. Thank you for the follow, Incontinence. Wish you could find a no CD exec for... I'm actually playing this on the CD. I still own the disc. Oh, they're forming these sharpshooters up in the line now? Well, that's different. Okay. I don't like that they're taking Napoleon fire to their flank, but what you gonna do about it? Nines Georgia, fixed bayonets, charge! Get that rebel yell! They're turning to meet you. Halt and fire a volley into them. Now have the 5th Texas charge. No one's shooting at them. that drove the right flank brigade or regiment here of Benning's
Reporting,
brigade
General.
back. Oh, I didn't mean to keep these guys charging. We're supposed to halt. Fire point blank volleys. That's the whole point. The charge is just to get you in close while you don't take any fire. We're approaching the wheat field. 4th Maine. All right, we're engaged with the 4th Maine, 1st U.S. sharpshooters. We're still in the skirmish. 20th Indiana. Nice. That rebel yell meant we routed an enemy regiment. Actually, the flank regiment here in the peach orchard. The enemy's bringing a brigade. Oh, I think we activated Sickles' Corps. Which is funny because we haven't activated the rest of Longstreet's. So if they move out of the peach orchard aggressively, then we may be able to move in on their flank. Although I'd like the rest of my corps to unlock before they move too much. Pennsylvania. The funny thing is actually, because I haven't assaulted Little Round Top yet, most of Law's brigade is in pretty good cover in the woods here on Big Round Top, which might help them a little bit. Anderson had a brigade routed, or a regiment routed. That's the guys who were trying to get to displace that enemy artillery, which they did manage to do that. But we've got 2 whole brigades coming down toward the wheat field now. I think they're vacating positions along the northern flank of the peach orchard, though, which might give us a opportunity here. All right, 9th Georgia and 5th Texas. Let's try and charge into the flank of the 3rd Michigan. If they turn to shoot at you, then you will halt and volley fire. Looks like that's what they're doing. I had a version of that Appomattox or Sumter to Appomattox. The thing that game really I appreciated was or I enjoyed most was the blockade running elements of it, which is pretty cool and unique. Okay. Charging takes a while to come at the enemy, and so you don't want to charge if you're being shot at, because you just take fire and do nothing. It's a quick way to wreck your troops on anything but like the easiest difficulty. But if they're not shooting at you, fire into their back. Rout them, boys. Finish them off. So we do have a slight problem. Enemy brigade is Going to route the 59th Georgia. Maybe they'll activate Seymour's brigade when that happens, so we can just... But that's a lot of troops coming south against our attack. The thing is, their whole defense of the peach orchard is kind of out of whack now. Hey, one of the batteries rallied. Where are they is the question. There we go. All right, you move there and unlimber, and you'll fire into the flank of those Union troops as they move south. Also, we do have all these units on Warfield's Ridge firing.
General.
New officer spotted in near Little Round Top. Hopefully that's not another brigade of enemy troops coming up there. There's not really a serious push going on there quite yet, but well, maybe don't do what I just said and don't just charge willy-nilly. Also, charging kind of acts like double quick, where it uses up your fatigue, which influences your morale. How are the casualties going so far? So things are evening out. We were at 2-1. Now things are pretty level.
Sir, reinforcements are coming up.
Oops. All right, McLaw's division is online. So Kershaw advance on the front of the peach orchard. Barksdale, you go with him. And then Wolford, you'll advance and perhaps into the flank of whatever federal troops are here. There's a lot of enemy artillery, which makes this advance tricky. Okay. McLaw's division advancing in one large body of men. Also Sems's brigade. Getting to Anderson's flank. Oh, I forgot about those guys I ordered to charge. Just halt and volley fire now. First Texas firing point blank.
Reporting, General.
I'm fighting this battle more like a brigade commander than a division commander at the moment. Whole bunch of more federal troops coming in here. Just getting into support.
Reporting, General.
Phillips Legion.
Come out and fight.
All right.
Take cover, man. Can't do that, General.
Drive them back. Law just holding a fair number of federal regiments back here on the left. On the federal left, I guess. Hey, maybe you should go join your corps brigade. '20th Maine, what are they doing way out here? McLaw's division is in action. I see some regiments firing now near the Wentz farm. Is the Wentz farm or Wentz farm the peach orchard? Like, is that the name of the people who own the peach orchard or something? I've never heard that before. Anderson's division should be coming on the flank of McLaw's here soon. Whatever happened to McLaw's? I mean, I'm sure I can look him up on Wikipedia, but I feel like he went from like a pretty prominent role at Gettysburg, but no one ever talks about him. They always talk about Hood, to like never really being relevant again. I think one of the interesting things about the Echelon attack, especially with like Anderson's division, is how there were like a number of Confederate brigades that basically just did nothing. They like just stopped. Where it's like, if they had pressed home anything, things may have been very different.
Hold your fire, boys!
Okay. Another brigade coming in on this. 4 more regiments here to the left of Little Round Top. Or my left. Brigades engaged in these open fields. Like, that's the other thing, is this part of the battlefield is just there's not really a whole lot of cover, so it's just like open field slugfest fighting. First Texas is in a bit of a bind. They got a whole bunch of Federal regiments firing at them. Still trying to work our way through this rocky terrain here. Hood hasn't been, he hasn't lost his leg yet. Enemy skirmishers. Why are they shooting at enemy skirmishers? That enemy regiment in the wheat field is not in. I wouldn't want to be in their position.
Reporting, General.
Okay.
Reporting, General. Reporting, General.
They're already taking fire. Why are they? We're spacing, perhaps because of my propensity to use charge. It's not great. Question is, where is that? Is it just this regiment, 15 Georgia, that's retreating? Battery's gonna rout. So waiting on Anderson's division to come in on the flank.
Watch your aim, lads.
Now charge, stop, charge, stop. So we can sort of inch forward on this federal position here and try and split their line in front of the peach orchard.
Reporting, General.
There's a small federal regiment here in front of the Wentz farm. The morale is also fairly low. You can see the little flag thing. When the flag is like more straight, like it's a strong breeze, that means morale is good. As the flag sort of droops, that indicates that morale is bad and they are more likely to break. You can see these guys are the really drooped flag. They're retreating here. Their morale is pretty shot. These guys have been like firing at point blank range. The 15th Alabama here on the flank. A lot of troops huddled in front of the wheat field.
Take cover, man.
I'd say I've got the advantage of weight and numbers here in front of the peach orchard. I think they've got the advantage of weight and numbers just in front of the Devil's Den. So why are you taking fire if you're not shooting back?
Sir, we'll get it back.
Got more troops pouring into the wheat field. And none of my reinforcements are going to go here. They're all going to go further north. Which I guess that's the point of the Echelon attack, right? It draws enemy reinforcements south and then allows you to potentially break the enemy position here further north toward Cemetery Ridge. In theory, that's how it's supposed to work.
Reinforcements are coming up.
Is this Anderson's division? Okay. The Echelon is nearly complete, I believe.
Hold your fire,
All right, we've broken through the center of the peach orchard.
Reporting, General.
I don't know where that is. In theory, the enemy position down here on the wheat field could be flanked, but I think all my troops down here in the south are going to be so damn exhausted. It's going to be real hard for them to stay in the fight long enough for the rest of my troops to come down.
Reporting, General.
Most of these regiments have considerably more enemy troops shooting at them than they are engaging with. Is Sickles wounded yet? Push in toward the peach orchard.
Reporting, General. Hold your fire, boys!
I don't know where the Lister house is.
Waiting for orders.
He's retreating. Law's boys are doing their work. 20th Maine, you bastards. You're no special. You're just in a gaggle of other troops. You're not even on the flank. So Perry's boys are advancing into the rear of the enemy here. Wright's boys are pushing deep into the flank.
Reporting, General.
Probably retreating in the south.
Reporting, General.
Push these guys back. You're fresh. Go charge them. This game? 98, I think. Well, I also have the game speed turned all the way down. Okay. All right, Kershaw's brigade's not engaged at all. Push forward here. Form up in double if you need to. Push on through. Barksdale's boys are pushing. Perry, you're behind the enemy lines. Why don't you like use that to your advantage? Right, your boys are advancing across the open. Federal troops are coming to engage you near the Rogers farm. Okay. Well, the Federals have been doing better than us on casualties lately. We had a little bit of a bigger advantage a moment ago. We got so many goddamn men crammed in here. Near the Devil's Den and Wheatfield. Some of my boys are getting left behind, but most of them need a little bit of a break. Okay. Hey, you're in the enemy rear. Maybe you should shoot at them from behind. Yeah, their morale took a big hit when we fired that volley from behind. Okay. Do we have any more brigades? I think we might have more brigades coming to the north. Any chance you can route them rather than just have them retreat? Yeah, I think Hood's division's about to break. Morale of all these brigades is getting pretty dicey. You guys close and engage with the enemy. Two regiments down here in Hood's brigade are retreating on the southern edge of the flank of the position. Okay. In theory, we're meleeing the enemy here. Point blank range firing. Why are you retreating? Cowards. Shoot the bastards. There you go. You routed them with that volley, 21st Mass. All right, they're pushing me out of the wheat field. Okay. Can you guys close at that battery that's for some reason not shooting at anybody? Maybe they're limbering up or unlimbering, I'm not sure. I never played Forge of Freedom. Maybe I did play it. I don't know. Forge was not real time though, right? Forge was that was more like strategic map, wasn't it? Alright, they're definitely on Hood's flank here. If they push out of the wheat field, they could crush that southern assault. The center of my line near the wheat field's coming apart.
Sir, reinforcements are coming up.
Posey's brigade, is that far, far north? It is. What are you doing second floor to there? You're like in behind the enemy. Okay.
Reporting, General.
So many more federal troops. I think we lost this one, boys. We never really got all that close. They're just shoving a whole frickin' brigade, maybe a division through our lines here in the center. Okay. The 3-day battle? Nah. Another brigade of enemy troops? Oh my god, they just keep coming. We've inflicted more losses on them than they on us. Did we get some credit for that?
Sir, reinforcements are coming up.
Mahone. Was Mahone the brigade that just like basically did nothing in this fight? Or is he up here? That's also one thing I like is when the game gives you that option of like calling troops in early. That's a pretty cool feature where it's like, hey, you can expend some victory points, some prestige, if you will, to call troops in early. All right, we need to bring some of this light artillery forward here. Or short-ranged artillery. I really like the gather artillery command in Antietam, where you can like group artillery around you. Not really a feature in Gettysburg.
Retreat!
Reporting, General.
Okay. Weak excuse. I don't know what to tell you, dude. This whole solid line they've got south of the wheat field.
Hold your fire, boys!
How long does it take you to close this distance? What are you moving at? 1 mile on? Not even. Like charging while you've got your feet in molasses or something?
Hold your fire, boys!
Reporting, General.
Yeah, they're turning my lines right into... I got nothing here. Maybe these Napoleons can fire into your flank, maybe. Okay. Come on, boys. You can do it. Keep pushing. Okay, we routed someone. So we get the rebel yell. Yeah, I would love to see this
Reporting,
game
General.
remade for, I know like Ultimate General exists, but with all the bells and whistles and all the sort of character that goes with this game, I'd love to see this game remade.
Retreat!
There you go, boys. All right, Walford. Push in there in double line. Your boys need to keep up the pressure. Yeah, Hood's division's melting. Devil's Den's not long for this battle. Hey, Mahomes is on the field now. I didn't realize that. Cemetery Ridge looks in reach. Okay. You know, I know people say ACW games are a niche, but I think they sell pretty well in the US. There's a
Morning,
reason
General.
we see more Civil War games made than Napoleonic War games. Okay.
Sir, we'll get it back!
There was the peach orchard as predicted. Shooting at these guys who are like literally on top of you. Oh, nice. They got routed. Okay, cool.
Watch your aim, lads!
Okay. I don't think we have much hope here. The battle shall continue, however. Why does that say the peach? Like our troops are in the peach orchard. It should at least be disputed.
Have your muskets ready.
Okay. All right, pushing through the gap there. We got 2 brigades pushing in. Another enemy brigades coming up though. How many more troops do they have? 6 out of 20. Casualties are going to favor them now. All right, boy. Oh, 2 of Wofford, or Sums and Wofford, both routed simultaneously. Oh, we won't even have flank at all. They'll simply swing around and crush us. Kind of where things are going.
Reporting, General.
Okay. Federals are approaching the Devil's Den. We're approaching the Peach Orchard. Destroying artillery gives you a lot of victory points. Although they're very...
Reporting, General.
tricky to get in close with. Well, they're moving a lot of troops out of the off of Cemetery Ridge. Alright, well. I think we're gonna lose. They're in the rear of Devil's Den. Law's boys are holding out. For now. Okay. Yeah, I think the Rebs did better than I am here historically, but yes, historically accurate. That is true. Whoa. Mahomes, move your brigade.
Captured our guns!
Oh no. Which guns?
We've taken their guns!
Where?
Sir, they've captured
Oh,
our
it's around the
guns!
Devil's Den. Yeah, well, I don't have any troops there. Hood is is pretty much toast.
They're taking cover. Retreat! Charge!
Okay. Get them, boys. What are we at? 6:50. Battle starts, ends in less than an hour. Potentially. Ah. Yeah. Well, this isn't good. Entire southern position is flanking, or is being flanked. Laws is about the brigade hanging out there. We did take the peach orchard, I suppose. That's a positive. At least for now. Okay.
How long do I have to stand here?
Do Federals use muskets or Springfields in 1861? Well, technically the Springfield was a rifled musket, so you could say both. I think it depended on the unit. There were units that had Springfields in 1861. There were also units that were still using buck and ball, which is basically a shotgun fired out of a smoothbore musket. 61, like, U.S. was not mobilized for war. They didn't have a lot of, you know, surplus weapons just laying around, so units used what they could. By 63, I think things had really started, especially in the Union Army, it started to standardize around the Springfield, some Enfields, depending on the unit. Buck and ball became less and less common. It was still not unheard of. I believe the Irish Brigade had pattern 42 muskets at Antietam in late 62, but I think by 63 probably that was pretty uncommon. Okay. Yeah, I can't salvage the South. Okay.
Sir, we'll get it back.
1.5 hour. If you get extra time, also depends on like objectives being taken and things like that.
Hold your fire, boys.
Okay. Do I have Austerlitz, George? I know you asked that a little while ago. Yes, I do. Austerlitz, Napoleon's greatest victory, and Waterloo, Napoleon's last battle. I have both of them. I've actually played Waterloo on the channel before. Fun fact, Norb, who made the Take Command and Scourge of War games, worked on, I believe it was Waterloo, doing some UI stuff way back in the end of the day. And Sid Meier, according to his memoir, wanted to make a Waterloo game after Antietam, but EA was kind of like, hey, how about enough of these war games? They were Fair Access's publisher at the time. EA was kind of like, enough of these war games, let's make something else. And so they decided to do Alpha Centauri then at that point. Which, like, part of me is like, I would have loved a Sid Meier's Waterloo, but on the flip side, you know, Alpha Centauri is kind of a classic of gaming. It's hard to be too upset about that. Plus, they still made, you know, Breakaway Games, who made Waterloo, Napoleon's Last Battle. That's based on the Sid Meier's engine. I assume Firaxis sold them the game engine, and then they made their version of it. Although I would have loved, I don't think they would have done that because they didn't they did a little bit with the South Mountain downloadable scenarios with Antietam, but it would have been cool if Sid had done like a Waterloo campaign rather than just like Waterloo, and they'd like mixed in the FMV and stuff with you know, Napoleon talking to his generals or marshals. Looks like Anderson's wounded here. Charge into the flank behind the peach orchard. I don't really know what I'm doing at this point. I don't think there's any realistic. Oh my god, they activated units on Cemetery Hill, and because we don't have early on this scenario holding them in position, they're coming down around my flank. They're advancing, they're flanking us. You know, because you don't have the take command option, like in take command, units don't really operate on their own, so you can't really like rely on the AI to be like, oh yeah, how about you do some fighting on your own? You kind of do have to micro it, which makes big scenarios like this hard. There's a reason that the full day scenarios in this game are listed as being multiplayer scenarios, because the assumption is rather than having one person trying to click around here and manage all these things, you would have teams do it. And so you'd have like one multiplayer person command maybe, you know, Hood's division, and one might command McClaw's division. And it's easier at the start of the scenario to micro because the nature of the Echelon attack means you're only got like 1 or 2 divisions commanding at a time. But in something like, you know, at this point anyway, you gotta command. I've been doing nothing with these guys down here. Granted, they're kind of fighting it out, but they're not doing very well. Also, these rallied units, they don't unlimber on their own, so might have been nice to do that. I wonder if they reset the 1.5 hour timer when we took the peach orchard, because usually the time extends each time an objective is adjusted or falls or whatever. Yeah, the game did have a pretty cool like co-op ability, which was, I feel like, pretty unique for a 1990s game, where it'd be like, hey, you can command this unit and you can command a different unit. It was pretty seamless too. I have some vague memories in the early 2000s of playing this well after the game had been out a real long time and there were only a few people left playing online. But it was cool to be able to command a division and someone else would command something else. I think you can, folks, do that in Scourge of War. Yeah, we're in trouble up here. We're getting encircled. Where's the rest of Hill's division? Come down and help us, boys. Or Hill's Corps. Come down and help us. There's no one left. Well. $712. Casualties are pretty firmly swung against us. This is going to be a major Union victory. I suppose at this point the only thing we've got that we're holding on to is the peach orchard. They must have considerably more troops than me by this point in the scenario. I think it's pretty even at the start, but oh my god, look at this. No wonder casualty. Like, all of those red lines represent regiments firing at that one regiment. What bed are you talking about in Zarna? Or were you talking to someone else? Oh, Hill? Okay. Hill's probably down with the sickness right now, right? He's like delirious and doesn't know what's going on.
Sir, 15 minutes!
We're down with the sickness. Who's shooting at you? You got a pretty... Can you shoot at these guys? Why are you not shooting? They're shooting at you. I don't think this game differentiates between weapon type. There's no smooth bore versus... Does Antietam do that? I can't remember if Antietam has different weapon types. In theory, Waterloo, Napoleon's Last Battle, tracks weapon types, but they're all Napoleon's troops pretty much use the same musket. The British have like 1 or 2 rifle battalions. Yeah, Hood's division's been like split off from the rest of the Confederate Army. They're just, although Law's hanging in there, he's just cracking. Oh my God, the 4th Alabama has 39 men left. 39 men. Dude, the boys have been heavily engaged, I'd say. Hood has not actually been wounded. And you could use a rally command, so like Hood could use his rally command here to try and rally all the regiments in his division that are routed. Probably should have, but I also don't think that's why we're losing, so... Okay.
Sir, 10 minutes!
4th Alabama, you got this, boys. Just one more effort. You'll figure it out. The other thing is they might they might threaten the peach orchard, in which case the game will probably extend the battle another half hour or so. Can you close at the guns before you rout? Shoot at them while they pull away. Yeah. We're not holding the peach orchard even if we tried. They got 39 boys left. They're not actually engaged right now. There's no one in range. Okay. We drove one regiment off that was kind of close to the peach orchard. Maybe we'll hold on to that for the last few minutes. Where are these guys going? Where do they think they're going? $115 boys. My boys. 103 boys. These regiment sizes are starting to look like Antietam regiments. I think at the start of the Battle of Antietam, there was like one Confederate regiment that had 73 men. That was an army that was fought down to the nub before the fight even started. Oh, they're coming around our flank. Hood's down here like, hey boys, who still wants to fight? We gotta hold on to the peach orchard. We gotta hold one, right? Just hold for 5 more minutes, boys. Don't let them get there. We gotta say we didn't get totally obliterated. We held one objective. Longstreet doesn't even get to be under my command. He's just
Reporting, General.
a non-activated item. I'm pretty proud of Law though. He hung in there. 44th is 260. 39. 96. Would rally to regiment. Good job, boys. The Claws division is probably the best in the best shape of any of the units, maybe because I didn't fight with them as effectively. Perhaps by the time he came online, I was too overwhelmed to micro. There was one with only 17 men, Grim, before or after the battle? I just remember in Sid Meier's Antietam, I was like, how are these regiments so small? It's like, how do you even fight with a regiment that size? Okay, only a Union tactical. It would have been decisive if we had lost the Peach Orchard. So this is probably what the historical result was, except that it was more lopsided than history. We should have taken and held the Devil's Den. I think the star icon for the little round top is like, if you lose that objective, maybe you lose the battle. I don't really know, but it's the only item on here that has a star. Although you can't see the, you can't see. Oh, Cemetery Ridge is there too, so I guess you can lose that. Okay, no wonder we lost. First off, they had 6,000 more men than we did. But also, look at what the AI did here. The AI paid for early access to Brewster's Brigade, Burling's Brigade, Hall's Brigade, Webb's Brigade, Willard's Brigade, Carroll's Brigade, and Weed's Brigade. The higher the dollar value here, the more, like, the earlier they got it, or the better the unit. So, like, Weed, Carroll, and Webb and Hall were all pulled in considerably earlier than they might have been otherwise. And some of them might not have actually been activated at all anyway. So it does influence their score. They probably would, they might have had a decisive if they hadn't spent all that money. There was like 2, 4, 6, 7, 11, 1,300. So they would have had what, 7, almost 18,000 R9. But like, that's a considerable advantage for them to pull in all these brigades. That makes me feel a little bit better about my performance, that they had all these units early, or, you know, extra. At least, I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 brigades. That's at least probably 10,000 men early. Which makes me think that maybe we were pushing the AI pretty hard and the AI panicked and activated all these units early. But I'm just saying that the AI, you know, they panic bought everything out, and that's why we had no chance. But in any event, 9,444 Confederate casualties, 454 points worth of artillery, 154 casualties. The enemy had 8,144 infantry casualties with 66 artillery. That's 198 points, and what have you there. So, an interesting big fight. You know, I'll use excuses all I want. The most effective unit is Zook's 140th Pennsylvania. Most effective brigade is Zook's brigade. Is Zook the guy who tied the red bandana around his head and was like, I'm going to die, before he went into the wheat field? And then he died. Yeah. So, hardest fighting unit, the 15th Alabama. Can we? They had 120 men left. Is there a way to see? Let's do this. I'm going to return to the scenario just briefly. I'm not actually going to do anything here. But I do want to look at the order of battle here, because this is a really neat little feature in this game where you can see the starting strength, which is the full gray, I believe, or maybe the blue line here, and then where they ended up. So you can see, like, if we go to Law's Brigade, the 15th Alabama, 120 men, considerable number of casualties. I think the Waterloo battle actually shows you what
Reporting, General.
What's the Hall of Valor? You can't, I guess you can't click on each individual unit, but you can see roughly like strength of units versus where they ended up. I suppose maybe if it's like grayed out like this, they're routed. I don't really know. Stars definitely represents experience, but pretty neat little feature here. There's actually like almost like a PDF that you can look at for the Waterloo game, Waterloo Napoleon's Last Battle, where it shows you every single unit, the total number of men they have, the experience. It's pretty interesting. But I'll just exit back out. Admit defeat. Now it's decisive because we lose that last objective. Because I admitted defeat, but whatever. It was already over. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this battle. I don't think we have enough time to play through the whole battle. I thought maybe we would, but I don't think I have time to do that right now. So we're going to wrap this stream up here. I hope you guys did enjoy this little stream of Sid Meier's Gettysburg on the anniversary of the final day of the Battle of Gettysburg. And that's going to do it for me today. So hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out. Bye-bye.